Hi, I'm Scoot, and welcome to Scoot on the Air YouTube channel. It's a Wednesday night, June 17th, 2020. This is another episode of The Truth Behind the Microphone. And there's a lot that's misunderstood about radio talk show hosts and about people in the media. And if I could shed a little light on what goes on behind the microphone, I want to do that. Look, I love what I do, and I've been doing this for a long time. 50 years. 50. And there's still new exciting things like YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. Still exciting things to do, even outside of my radio show on WWL. I love my radio show. But some days are really tough. And as much as I try to not let things affect me, there's almost more tough days now than there were in the past. It's really ugly out there. Really ugly. First, let me just share with you this morning before the show, I visited a friend of mine, a dear friend, who I've known for just about all of my career. He's a really great guy. I guess I kind of looked at him as an older brother. And his battle with cancer suddenly took a turn for the worse. It's really bad. He's at home, but he's under care. And it was so hard to see him. I broke down. But I'm so glad I was there. I hope to go back again tomorrow. I hope I'll go back every day. I mean, just like this, just suddenly his battle with cancer changed. That weighed so heavily on my heart that it was hard to prepare for the show. And it was hard to do the show. There are days that it's not that I'm acting, but there are days that I really have to push personal stuff aside to do the show. And one of the best ways that I can do it is to be honest with you. And at the opening of the show today, I was honest with you. Hey, look, I had a tough morning. And I told the story that I just told you, I told that story to the audience this morning, or this afternoon at 1 o'clock when I went on the air. Because then if something doesn't seem to be right, that I feel like I've been honest and I've explained it. And I don't have to try to hide my feelings. I don't have to like smile and be happy like nothing's wrong. No, guess what? I'm going on the air and you know what? Something's wrong. And I know many of you have to do a job where, you have bad news or something personal has happened in your life and you've got to put on a pretty face, put on a happy face. I respect those of you who need to do that. Sometimes you can go and work and you can just bury your head and not have to be up. So anyway, it was a tough day in that way. And there are days like that. But the hate in America today is so thick that it's really not easy to do talk radio anymore. And some of the comments are personal. Some comments on the air, some comments very personal in texts. And it's okay. It's part of the job. It's what I signed up for. But what bothers me is that it's getting so ugly that I'm concerned that this is going to become the symptom of a bigger problem to come. I hope not. But man, there's if you're a radio talk show host, there's no winning. I mean, no matter what, unless you're mild and really not that opinionated. Um, if it's just especially like in a case like me, where it's me and the audience and my opinions, it's rough. And I'm content that there are people who don't like me. In fact, if there weren't people who didn't like me, I wouldn't be doing my job. It's okay. I mean, throughout my career, even when I was in music radio, throughout my career, there have been people who think I suck. I don't know why they bother listening, but they do. And I remember this hit me in about 1985. As big as Michael Jackson was in 1985, as big as Bruce Springsteen was in 1985, I realized that not everybody liked them. That there were some people that hated Michael Jackson. There were some people that hated Bruce Springsteen. And yet these guys were still incredibly popular. That's when a light went off for me and made me realize everybody doesn't have to like you for you to be popular. And especially when it comes to things like talk radio, social media, if there are not people who really dislike you or hate you or think you suck or want to bash you, criticize you, if you're not getting that, you're not doing your job, because it means you're too mild, you're too mellow. You're not even giving your opinions strongly enough, or you're afraid to give such strong opinions. And then I realized also about this same time, I realized, if there's a two-person race for president, two people running for president, 49% of the country can hate you, and you can still become president. Now, that has to translate into the electoral college, the electoral vote as well. I understand that. But in theory, half of this country can hate you, and you could become president. And half of this country hates Trump. Half of this country hated Obama. Half of this country hated George W. Bush. I don't know what the figure was, but a lot of people hated Bill Clinton too. So I've learned to deal with people who don't like me. And I don't care what you do, there are people who don't like what you do. And I often think about the people that say, I don't like you. I disagree with your opinions. I don't like. Basically, they're telling me they don't like the way I'm doing my job. That's okay. But guess what? There are people who don't like the way you do your job. They don't. You get to see me, you get to contact me, but there are people who don't like you, and they don't like the way you do your job. And whatever you do, you don't have 100% of the clients. Some people go to other businesses because they don't like you. They don't like the way you do your business. Hey, toughen up. It's life. So while sometimes it gets to me, I really do thrive on the negative because I know I'm doing my job. And I hope you can learn from this and realize that, not everybody's going to like you. And you know what? The customer is not always right. That may be the policy of the company you work for. The customer is always right, so you always bend to the customer. But the truth is, the customer is not always right. Sometimes customers are assholes. Sometimes customers are mean, bitter son of a bitches. Sometimes customers are just mean and hateful and ugly. and they take it out on you. And sometimes they're not right. And sometimes you kind of have to go along with it a little bit, but it doesn't mean they're right. And there was a time well, here's a comment from Toby. Not me, I'm perfect, LOL. Okay, Toby, I knew there would be an exception to this. I knew there would be an exception. Southside Central says, well, I came in at exactly the right time. All right, well, good. Yeah, you can go back and watch this. And again, I welcome those of you who are on my YouTube channel, Scoot on the Air. You know, we're just starting to plan a little bit of a set. You know, we're gonna have a little bit of a set. So I'm not gonna just always be here with the, trees in the background. We're gonna have a little bit of a set here. And this will grow. By the way, I hit 375 subscribers. Thank you all. Thank you. I'm trying to get to 400. That's my first big milestone here, to get to 400. And so if you haven't subscribed, if you're watching now and you haven't subscribed, it's free. Just subscribe, and we'll get to 400, and we'll continue to build this. And you will remember, oh yeah, I was in on the ground floor of that, man. I was watching that guy in the very, very beginning before he even had a set. I mean, I hope that's where this ultimately goes, and we'll be doing a lot more as time goes on. And when the COVID pandemic changes a little bit more, we'll be doing even more. And by the way, numbers are going up everywhere. Nobody's social distancing. That's just totally gone away. I don't see it anymore. I'm still wearing a mask. I'm still social distancing. But man, I tell you, sometimes it's hard to get out of the way of people who don't want to social distance. It's like, get away. Just get away. And by the way, today when I went to go see my friend, I saw his wife. I almost hugged her. It was my instinct to reach out my arms and no. And she goes, I know, we can't. But that was my instinct. And so I hope one day that changes. I like some of the social distancing stuff. I like some of the mask wearing stuff. So it's kind of okay with me. Faye says, I'm glad you're doing this. It's different. Well, Faye, thanks. Yeah, it's gonna get better. I mean, there'll be a time when I've got guests. I'm going to even set up a little part of my apartment over here, and it's going to be where the set's going to be. And look, again, I offered this series, The Truth Behind the Microphone, to just kind of give you a little insight into what goes on behind the microphone. I had a caller today that was talking about how Satan is using the media to divide us. And he went on to talk about God and prayer and all that. All that was fine. But he said, Satan is using the media to divide us. And I told the guy, I said, I want to be honest. I told the audience this. I have never talked to Satan about my show. Ever. Satan has never called me. Look, I got my phone right here. I'm looking up. No missed calls from Satan. Satan has never contacted me about using me to divide people. And people think I divide people, when in reality, I try to bring people together. But that's the crazy world that we live in. You try to bring people together and people accuse you of dividing people. Look, if Joe Biden wins, not that anybody's going to ever admit they were wrong, but for people who think I just bashed Trump because he's a Republican, I'm a radical moderate, registered independent. I have voted for Republicans. I voted for Democrats. I vote for the best candidates. But for those who think that I'm just out to bash Trump every day, believe me, if I wanted to bash Trump every day, I would spend 3 hours from 1 to 4 on my radio show every day bashing Trump, because there's enough material that you could look for that's presented for you to bash him all day. I don't do that. But sometimes when the president does something like hold up the Bible backwards for a photo op after aggressively pushing peaceful protesters out of the way, hey, I got a comment. When the president is not social distancing with all these people on the platform, all these law enforcement officials yesterday or the day before, I comment. If Joe Biden wins the election, I guarantee you Joe Biden is going to say stuff that's going to be stupid, because that's Joe Biden. Sometimes he says stupid stuff. And I will be here on social media and on my radio show to comment on the stupid stuff Joe Biden says if he wins. And all of those who are so critical of me for bashing Trump, they're never going to admit, oh, you know what? That guy's right. Look, now he's being honest about Joe Biden. I love to praise presidents. I want Trump. I want whoever is president of the country that I live in, whether I voted for them or not, I want them to be successful. Because I want my country to be successful. I have issues with the mayor of New Orleans and some of the things that she says and does. But I want her to succeed because I live in this city. Here's a comment. Some of Satan's helpers have called you. I've heard them. You know, like what? Satan has like little elves, like Santa has helpers and elves. Satan's got little elves and helpers. Yeah, I think some of Satan's helpers may have actually called me on the air, but I try to dispose of them as best I can. Anyway, another day tomorrow. Join me on Facebook and Instagram tomorrow. Oh, by the way, wait, this Wednesday, right? Tomorrow night's Thursday night. I need it more than you need it. I need 80s night. And I'm going to fulfill a recurring request that I've received to dance to certain music on 80s night. So I'm going to fulfill that request tomorrow night. So 9 o'clock live, write it down, 9 o'clock live, Scoot on the Air, Instagram. I'll do 80s night. And I hope you're dancing with me. It started out as a way to just, hey, break the tension of everything that's going on. And I'll tell you, we need it more now than we've ever needed it before. And to be honest with you, I think I need to do it more than you need to even see it. So I'll put a lot into it tomorrow night. It should be fun. Join me on my radio show. It's WWL AM, FM, and radio.com. It's 1 to 4 in the afternoon. That is New Orleans time, Central time. And by the way, there's a new song out from Robert Lamb, one of the founding members of the band Chicago. And it's a song about what's going on. It's like basically everything's going to turn out okay. Everything's going to be fine. We're going to have to go through some stuff, but everything's going to be fine. And it's a good song. It's got a little hint of Chicago in it. I played it on my radio show. I'll play it again on my show tomorrow. But I'm going to have a conversation live on the air with Robert Lamb, 3:15 Friday afternoon. So again, if you haven't downloaded the app yet, download radio.com, stream the show. And man, I love the younger listeners that we're getting there. So download the app, radio.com, type in WWL, and you've got the show. And once in a while, when I have to dump somebody because of profanity, you get to hear it if you're on radio.com, because it doesn't dump on radio.com. And also, you get to rewind the show up to 24 hours. You can rewind and see what's going on. Anyway, I have fun. Some days are a struggle, but I have fun every day. And I love all of you for joining me on WWL. I love you joining me on Facebook, Scoot on the Air Instagram, and here on the Scoot on the Air YouTube channel. And please become a subscriber. We're trying to hit that big number of 400. And I'm telling you, the day is, I'm going to follow through with this. The day is going to come and we're going to have, somewhat of a little set here. All right. Love you guys. Have a good night.